not being deterred, I actually ended up temping for IBM in the education department, and all my friends and family back in Oz were just like, "What are you doing?" It's like, you've got a master's degree in ceramics, you're established over here, and you're working for IBM. But for me at the time, it was. I guess being a ceramicist, more of a right-brain thinker, here I was working for this multinational company where everything is very structured, everything is very formalized, and it was a chance to sort of like learn something new, which I always loved doing anyway. So in the education department, they ended up asking if I wanted to be put through a project management course with IBM. And at the time, I just thought, well, look, project management is something that's transferable. It's a skill that I can use in lots of different fields. So I said, for sure. And I ended up working as a project manager for IBM in the education department for 4 years. Again, all my family and friends were just like, couldn't understand what I was doing. But at the time, I just absolutely loved it. I got to travel a lot with work as well. So after 4 years in that role, I then decided that it was time to do something a little bit more creative. I loved working for IBM, and it was an amazing organization, but I guess, it was a bit of a challenge in the sense that if somebody being as creative as I was, if I had an idea, it had to go through 18 different levels before you could actually even embrace to do that idea or whatever. So it was time just to look around for something a little bit more creative, given the fact that I'd worked for Craft Victoria, given the fact that I'd had lots of experience, had a master's degree in ceramics. So I set about creating 5 different CVs, which really sort of encapsulated all my different experiences, all my different skills, and I just sent them to everyone I knew, both in London, both back in Australia, both in Canada when I lived in Canada. And a friend of mine from RMIT is Jamie's art director and does all his graphic design. And he said there was a job going in the brand team, and they needed somebody with project management experience. So I went for the job close to 8.5 years ago, and that's how I ended up working there. And it was quite a strange experience, because back then Jamie didn't have any HR department or no people in development. It was all family and friends that ran the business. So for somebody like me to come along who had a wealth of experience, project management experience, it was a great opportunity, because I really got in on the ground level and really I felt like I'd come home, because it's an incredibly creative company as well. So it's quite ironic, because Jamie had a ceramics range with Royal Worcester, so often I'd be called into a meeting and sit there and go, "Oh, I'm not quite sure if that should be stoneware or earthenware, or that should be a salad and glaze, or I'm not quite sure of the lip," and then Jamie would be sitting there going, "That's quite interesting how you know all this about these pots that I'm producing," and then that's when I told him that I have a master's degree in ceramics. So after a year, I worked with Jamie really closely on his website, developing his original website in 2000.